Hello everybody, welcome to the next webinar. I'm Tom Danvers from Waygate Technologies. I'm going to be taking you through a slightly different topic than the ones I normally take you through. This is really about design principles, as you can see on the chart, taking you through what aspects are important to us as a business, and hopefully they'll resonate with you in terms of what aspects are important to you as a customer and as an end user of our the consumer of the equipment and software that we deliver. So sit back. This is scheduled for about 30 minutes. In true Tom Danvers tradition, it's likely to be more like 45, 50 minutes. We shall see. But hopefully, jot down any thoughts or questions throughout the presentation, and we'll put some time at the tail end to take you through any questions that you might have. So to kick off, I really wanted to show you this next slide, or this video that showcases the launch of our product. And the reason why I wanted to take you through that is because of the sort of the narration, the speech, the story is important in as much that we recognize the equipment that we provide is so important to you and your customers and to your facilities and your assets. So sit back, listen to the next 2-minute video, and then we'll start thereafter.
The demand of inspections is daunting because you're not just facing the challenge of the task at hand, you're facing the elements that are never on your side. Every second counts. Every decision can put lives on the line, and so many people are relying on you to get it right. You need a mentor. One that helps you optimize, digitize, and ultimately meet the demands you face. You need the Everest Mentor Visual IQ Plus from Waygate Technologies. This next-generation video borescope features a revamped steering engine for more degrees of articulation and leverages the power of AI to be your second set of eyes, identifying and classifying defects in real time. Plus, with Real 3D and its interactive 3D point cloud, you'll avoid errors and get confident results from each inspector every time. And if you're capturing a lot of data, you'll find plenty of room for it here. The Mentor Visual IQ Plus boasts 5 times as much internal memory as the previous model and provides continuous data backup to the cloud. Now you can spend less time managing your data and more time focused on your inspections. Time is never on your side, but now it can be, thanks to increased processing power for faster measurement, stitching, and analytics on edge, like ADR and blade counter. And you can experience it all at 60 frames per second through our best-in-class live HD video feed.
Hey Mentor, blade tip clearance measurement. Save image.
Oh, and voice recognition? It does that too.
So the Mentor Visual IQ Plus, this is our new product that we launched a few months earlier, January, February this year. We'll really be talking about it as a product holistically and talking about certain features that it specifically has, but more to do with why we chose to design it and for it to incorporate the features that it does today. So this is an overview of the next sort of 30, 45 minutes or so of this webinar. Really talking to you about how we design and incorporate the technology in our product to reduce the human error. What do I mean by human error? We make mistakes. Humans make mistakes. We use this equipment to obviously inspect high value assets. Inspection requires looking at the screen, checking the quality of the component that you're inspecting, and hopefully as a result of using the equipment, you're able to incorporate and assess the scene in front of you such that you can determine whether that asset that you're inspecting is serviceable or not. Basically determine and sentence that inspection. And as also as a result of our design, really let you understand really what it is that we do in order to make sure that it's fit for purpose for the environments in which we consider this instrument useful in the settings that you use it for. And a part of what I do as a software product manager within the Waygate business, in the visual business, is to make sure that we have the product that really is easy to use, simple to use, without certainly compromising the quality and the excellence that it delivers to you. So as a result of this session, we hope to be able to share with you all of the aspects that we consider important to you when using not just the Mentor Visual IQ Plus, but the other borescopes that we also deliver within our product range. And the way I've decided to do that in this webinar is to break it down into these following 5 chapters. Be ready to inspect, getting to the indication, making a great image. Also, as well as you've heard me speak numerous times, obviously the importance of measurement and also productivity and automation features. So let's get started. Be ready to inspect. Yes, very clearly it's designed such that it's built to last in very tough conditions. If I just click this, oh, hopefully it will work. Sorry, waiting for the video to play. It should do any second now, hopefully. So what we have here is a short clip showing the video dropping, the video scope dropping from height. Why we do this, it's also necessary to make sure that this is a robust device that's fit for purpose. Not only is it comfortable and ergonomically designed so that you can handle it and use it in all the settings that you choose to operate this device, but also it's very durable. It does have a military grade magnesium casting housing, and we test it to all these various standards. I'm not an expert on all of those standards, but we know at a high level, these are standards that make sure that it's resistant to the various rigors of environmental sort of exposure, not just water and rain and dust ingress, which you'll look up in against IP65, but a range of sort of vibration and humidity, as well as temperature and pressure parameters, such as these MIL standards that you see here. Forgive me, the video is not really playing it very well, but this is a slow motion video showing the device dropped at height in accordance with the standards that you see here. And you'd be able to see, if it worked, the casting sort of deflecting and absorbing the shock upon impact. So these are sort of internationally recognized standards to make sure that these devices uphold and remain serviceable and remain operational in the environments in which you use this. So at a high level, our MVIQ Plus contains a whole host of features and technologies and technologies such that it can be fit for purpose in use, so that it's ready to inspect. So starting at the top, multi-touch capacitive Gorilla Glass with a high degree of viewing angle. So it's clearly important that you've got a very rugged, physically resistant screen that can take impact and all sorts of the environmental sort of ranges that it's exposed to in terms of pressures, temperatures and humidity. So we'll talk more about the glass and why that's important. The ergonomics, this is a design that actually dates back to 2014 when the Mentor Visual IQ was first launched. This is the third incarnation, the MVIQ Plus, that was released just earlier this year in 2024. Design is very well proven, lots of positive feedback, very ergonomic. Your hand grips around that handle that you see there, and your thumb easily sort of navigates through around the joystick and the various buttons surrounding the joystick, whereas your index finger is positioned around the handle, and you're able to index and actuate those two dual trigger buttons that you see on the underside. Moving to the right, as we move clockwise around this chart, we've got a capable battery that's able to withstand up to 2 hours 10 minutes, 2 hours 15 minutes now, with a power gauge on the outside. So without operating it on the borescope, you're able to determine the life or the charge life of the battery without it operating on the borescope. And with the capability of MVIQ Plus, that you can switch these batteries out whilst operating the device with the mains lead attached on the side panel. Along the bottom, we've got the probe that allows you to attach an insertion tube of various different diameters, and these are plug and play. Whilst the device is still on, you can unclip these probes and clip another one on. So if you want to move from a 4 to a 6 or some other diameter, you're able to do that very quickly. And last but not least, we have an assortment of accessories, and I'll talk more about that later as well. But accessories are super important to make sure that you're mounting your equipment onto your asset such that it's within easy ergonomic reach for you, and that the weight of it and the size of it is not taken up by yourself, but handled by the accessories. So there's a range of hooks, cradles, pole mount kits, and also attachments to other accessories as well, such that it's designed so that it can be positioned perfectly where you need it to be. A little bit more information about the screen. So yeah, the requirement for a screen is clearly paramount for any video borescope. Our particular screen on the Mentor Visual IQ Plus is a very capable screen in not just the brightness. That's a huge brightness value, 1400 nits, but the symmetrical viewing angle of 85 degrees allows you to essentially see the contents of the screen, the image projected from the screen at almost perpendicular to the screen at 85 degrees on both angles, symmetrical angles. So although it could be mounted very ergonomically such that you're projecting sort of near perpendicular against the screen, if it's at an angle such that it's difficult to be able to get your head into that perfect place, you will always see the contents projected from that screen. The capacitive multi-touch line item that you see here, this is a touchscreen capable device. For the first time, it was actually introduced as a touchscreen capable borescope back in 2014. It was the first borescope to have that capability, and you see that on all video borescopes now in terms of capability for touchscreen. It allows you to really navigate and control and position all sorts of things on your screen to help you through your inspection workflow, as I like to call it. And it's very, very responsive. With it being capacitive multi-touch, it also enables not just your fingers, but if you're wearing gloves, for instance, it will respond to that touch. So if you're in sort of harsh weather conditions, for instance, when you're wearing gloves, it will still respond to those inputs. Gesture support, yeah, just like I was touching about earlier, when perhaps you're moving from and getting ready to do your inspection, navigating, turning it on, applying the right settings, but also controlling the position or even the rotation of the angle of the image on your screen. And so those are various activities that do require sort of gestures, such that where you're pinching and zooming or rotating your fingers, 2 fingers on the screen to rotate your image on the screen. So gesture support is very important. And extremely responsive. So yeah, there's no lag, virtually zero lag. I would actually say zero lag, certainly from my point of view, whilst using the device. It's a very capable, powerful processor, and with the hardware, with this particular screen that we have fitted to our device, allows you to perform those activities with zero lag. And as I touched on earlier, physically it's a very capable material, and withstands a lot of the shock of drops, for instance, and impacts as a result of incorporating the technology from Gorilla Glass. So that's a little bit about associated with the factors associated with getting ready to inspect. So it's a very capable device in terms of its resistance to all of the environments, the various environments that you are exposing this device during your inspection settings. A little bit more now really about you've set it up in your setting, but also what is it that's required to help you get to the indication. First and foremost is the ability, let's see if this plays. Is it going to play? Not sure if it's going to play. But this is a short video. None of these videos are playing at the moment. This is a video showing the articulation of the video borescope. Clearly, articulation of the bending section is very, very important on any video borescope. With the introduction of the Mental Visual IQ Plus earlier this year, we've spent a lot of time and effort to make sure that we remain at the top in terms of having control and power to the servos to allow you to get your probe to where it needs to be in order to start your inspection. So the servo cams, the controllers, the motors, a lot of that technology required to enable control and precise control and movement of the bending section has been updated in the Mental Visual IQ Plus, as you can see here. And also we've invested into the architecture and optimized the architecture of the cables, such that not only are the controllers and the motors within the pod that sits underneath the handset have been improved, but also the architecture for the cables that pass through the insertion tube have also been certainly enhanced. And as a result of the updated servo motors, an interesting sort of benefit has been the reduction in the noise from the servos. So the outgoing MVIQ did upon occasions make a louder noise than perhaps you would like especially if your inspection setting was in a quiet area, you would hear a lot of buzzing. A lot of that noise has now been eliminated or certainly reduced with the incorporation of the updated probe that we now have for the MVIQ Plus. Forgive me about these videos. For some reason, they're not playing on this presentation. So this is just a short, if I just quickly go through it in static motion, you'll see it move rapidly, in this case, to 170, 180 degrees in articulation. And the feel that you get from the joystick as a result of the response that you get on the bending section has been improved. So driving and feeling your way through the asset to get to your inspection site has been improved on the MVIQ Plus. Interaction. So clearly, once you're set up and you're starting your inspection, you are interacting with the video borescope. And these are the various methods upon which you will interact with our product. The touchscreen, we've talked about that. Turning on, navigating through the settings, setting up your file paths from your USB thumb drive, for instance, adding annotations, for instance, to your screen, or setting up menu directed inspection and setting up that, navigating you through to the various leaf nodes so that you can start your inspection. The touchscreen enables all that to happen rapidly. And once you've set up your device and it's displaying the information that you want shown on your on your screen, by use of the joysticks and the index buttons or the trigger buttons, you can navigate and get to your indication very rapidly by using your index finger, whether you're left or right-handed, and your thumb on the joystick. And a lot of the buttons that you see on the outside around the joystick, those enable you to interact with menus and saving and recording and all those sorts of things without having to release your hand from the trigger if you choose not to do so. If you wanted to interact with the touchscreen to do those activities, a lot of those, if not pretty much most of how we design our software, is that you can interact with almost virtually all of the features on the device, whether using the buttons or the touchscreen. And what's new that you can see here is also interacting with your MVIQ Plus using voice. So if you've got both hands on the insertion tube, for instance, and you've articulated and twisted it to a certain position, and if you couldn't do or chose not to do so, you wouldn't have to release your hands from the insertion tube. You could just say, "Hey, mentor, save image," for instance, or freeze frame or start recording and all the rest of it. So there's lots of commands, over 100+ commands, where you can, without obviously physically interacting with the handset, you can speak and perform these commands without letting go. And also another use case really for using voice is speeding up the inspection and the workflow. So if you're rapidly or frequently, sorry, I meant to really say, performing, let's say, point-to-line measurements because you're inspecting, let's say, a compressor stage, and there's lots of edge breaking defects on the leading edge, trailing edge of these aerofoils. Rather than sort of holding down 3D PM capture, going into measurement, pressing point-to-line, you could say, hey, mentor, point-to-line measurement. And it would do all of those things, go through those states, and present to you to the screen where you would place your 3 cursors to do a point-to-line straight away. So it's a way of not just from a convenience point of view, holding your probe, for instance, and you choose not to let go of your probe to get the image that you need, but using voice really does help you perform repetitive tasks a lot quicker, especially those tasks that I mentioned about doing measurement, because it does require you to press and interact with the device a number of occasions, a number of times, in order to get you to place cursors on the screen and doing your measurement. So once you've got to the indication, we think it's important, you think it's important, I'm sure, to make a great image. So what's involved there? This is something clearly that's very important to every inspector using any borescope out there in the marketplace, is that you want to have the best possible image so that you can do your inspection, but also a best possible image so that you can save that image or that video such that it's a record of your inspection and potentially being passed to your customers, for instance. So the quality of your image, your live image, as well as your quality of your saved output, whether it's image or video, is very, very important. A lot of the image processing that you see on the MVIQ Plus is optimized such that the quality of the image is considered paramount, most important. So a lot of investment has taken place to make sure that the image chain, from collecting the light at the sensor and transmitting that signal to the probe and to the handset and delivered through the screen, is optimized and enhanced as much as possible to give you that truest reproduction of the image. We have a suite of powerful tools that we've kind of grouped together. That's part of what we call TrueSight imaging. So there's a range of image processing tools that enhances or can enhance scenes where there is low illumination, for instance, or the color needs to be enhanced. So we have a range of these tools. High dynamic range is one of them, where it collects a range of images at different exposure levels and presents them on the screen that you can see here. There's a HV nozzle that you can see where it's enhanced through HDR. And also as a result of the tips that we have developed, such that there's a huge range, a vaster range of basic optical tips, but also measurement tips, 3D phase measurement tips specifically. In recent years, well, last year in 2023, we developed and released two new 3D phase measurement tips, so there are now 6 in total. So there's an image of actually one of the new ones, the red one. So that's a very close focus 3D phase measurement side facing tip, the red tip. And you can get a crisp HD quality image live, projected to you live on the screen within 2 millimeters, almost touching the target. And equally, once you're there and choose to freeze frame or perhaps enter into the measurement state, you're able to collect a very detailed 3D phase measurement scene, such that if you wanted to obviously analyze and interrogate that scene through 3D phase measurement, you can now with this new tip. When you connect, I think all these videos I'm not going to play for some reason. When you connect 3D phase measurement tips with TrueSight imaging and with the world-class sort of steering engine that you've heard me talk about, you're able to get through. If I play this video statically, this is me introducing into a gas turbine through the HB nozzles and presenting the tip to the leading edge of a HB turbine blade set. And as I pass into that scene, I'm able to not only utilize the steering engine that you've heard me talk about in terms of getting to the indication, but also as a result of the enhanced tips that we have now on offer, and able to navigate the borescope to scenes and positions much easier than could have been done in the past as a result of a combination of all the technology that you've heard me talk about. So this is me rudimentarily sort of playing through the video, showing you me getting to the scene and projecting a good quality, a high quality image to myself as an inspector before performing my inspection, in this case with the new turning tool feature that we have incorporated. So once you play the button, we can now automate the process upon which the blades rotate and can be automatically captured by the device. So next chapter really is all about measurement. And if you've seen any of my previous webinars, we talk about measurement quite a lot, specifically real 3D measurement. Once you've gotten to your indication, you've got your satisfactory image that you need to do, and you've then found an anomaly or a defect that you want to interrogate, it's quite then natural to perform various measurements so that you can interpret, analyze, and then decide or sentence as a result of that defect that you've encountered. So measurement is massively important to you. We understand that for sure. With the use of real 3D measurement, I've said it's technology for increased accuracy, which is certainly the case. It's also really technology that is designed to empower you to make the right decisions. You are still central to the process of measurement. It is you, the end user, that is largely speaking. There are some automated measurements that we have available on our borescope, but largely speaking, it is you, the end user, that is placing cursors on the screen. And the real 3D technology enables you to have greater confidence in the positioning of your cursors onto that image by use of utilizing the point cloud that you see on the right hand side of this screen. You could configure the device such that the point cloud is full screen, but once you've assigned cursors, and obviously the instrument has calculated, in this case, the length as through a pointer line, the length of a defect on the edge of an aerofoil, for instance, you need to make sure that measurement is the most accurate measurement that you, the inspector or end user, could generate. So making sure your cursors are positioned correctly enables you to have that confidence such that you can walk away from that inspection having the utmost confidence that you've made the right decision. So real 3D measurement enables you to do that. And the latest news from Mental Visual IQ Plus, this is a screen showing all 12 types of measurement. Just as a reminder, measurement plane isn't considered a measurement type. So there's 13 tiles on this page, but there's actually 12 measurement types. The new ones being angle, surface angle, and missing corner. So there's now 12 available. So there's lots and lots there. We kind of group them into lengths, depths, areas, angles, and radius gauge. So that's 5 kind of measurement types, should we say, or groupings. But there's multiple lengths, multiple depths, and now with the use of missing corner, there's 2 area types of measurement, for instance, and 2 angles. So yeah, there's lots of measurement types there. So understanding what each measurement type is clearly very, very important. And we recognize that we need to make sure that you're using the right measurement type. So we've also included this new feature such that you can learn more about the measurement types. So again, forgive me, I'll manually go through this video. I can just play it. For some reason it's not going. Oh. Give me a sec, it's just thinking. It's not thinking very well. Just 1 second, everybody. My computer's decided to pause for a second. I'm just gonna reload the program. So I'm gonna reload this and show the slide deck again. Let's try again. Okay, so that should be coming up soon. There it is. Okay. Oh, it didn't play. So this is a video where it will show, forgive me, obviously I've clearly got computer problems today, where you can enter into the measurement state and press the little I button on the top right hand side, and that's I for information, and that takes you into this state where you can learn more about all of the different measurement types. So you've heard me talk about 12 different measurement types for real 3D phase measurement, as there are for real 3D stereo, but if you're using traditional stereo or comparison measurement, there are different should we say interactions or options associated with the measurement types there. So learn more accommodates all of the different types of measurement. And as I was saying, yes, there's lots of different measurement types, and it's important for you to understand what they all do and how they are designed to be operated, such that you can reduce the instance or the occurrence where you're perhaps measuring the depth of a defect when perhaps you should be using point to line, for instance, and using a different measurement type. So there is information in there to really help you, the end user, make sure that you're selecting the right measurement types and interpreting the image correctly. And if you haven't caught up with some of the other webinars that I've done, there's all sorts of additional information when you're doing measurements where you're presented with all sorts of different colors from real 3D surface masks, understanding what maximum target distance is and all this sort of thing. So there's all sorts of information that you can learn more about on the borescope, all designed so that hopefully it's useful and you'll learn how to optimize your experience and which features you're using most appropriately in order to carry out your inspection task. Productivity and automation. So once you've got your borescope and you're using it, you've got your indication, you've got the image, you've done some measurements. Also, there's lots of other capabilities that we have on our borescopes. Here's a video clip, if I can play it through. So this is me generating a report using menu directed inspection. Once you're doing an inspection using MDI and saving images or indeed videos, at the end of the process, you can use this feature such that you can generate a PDF and Word document. This is me generating a quick PDF report. Quite simple in its state, in as much that it has a title page, which is customizable, a summary page, and then the contents of all the various images with metadata associated with it. If I can show you, yeah, so here's an image showing HB compressor, HBC, stage 1 that contains 49 blades, rotor blade, leading edge. And I chose in this case not to add comments or a defect classification to it. But if I did at the point of saving it, that would be automatically extracted and included in your report, for instance. So it saves a lot of time at the end of your inspection so that you can walk away with a report in your pocket. So if you are using MDI as well as using blade counter, your screen would look like this. So why would you use blade counter? It's important to make sure that you're doing your inspection and you've completed your inspection and you know how many blades there were in your inspection. using MDI, if you can see on the top right left-hand side of the screen, it says IP compressor stage 7, and then the number 53. So I designed this menu-directed inspection template to also contain the number of blades in each stage of this engine. So in this case, for this engine type, there were 53 blades in IPC stage 7. So with the use of blade counter, I can go into blade counter and enter 53 as the total number of blades. And I can start my inspection and wait for 53 blades to pass, and then you return to blade number 1. Then you know you've captured or seen all of those blades. So using MDI in conjunction with blade counter is a very productive tool to be able to use. If you then, oh, my screen's struggling again. If you then use MDI with blade counter and another feature that I'm about to show you on my next slide, forgive me, it's now struggling again. I'm going to be showing you the next feature, which is Turning Tool 2.0, if it can work. Oh God. Apologies, everybody. Obviously got lots of IT problems today. I don't know why it's happening now. Okay, let's try and I'm going to probably have to close the file and reopen it again. So forgive me, this is probably going to be a 30-second delay or so to allow that to happen. Just 1 second. Yeah. Okay. Here we are. Okay. Hopefully that's coming through again. So this is using menu directed inspection with blade counter, and you can see an additional screen or user interface on the bottom left hand side, which is Turning Tool 2.0. And if we can press play, maybe this video will play. Oh, no. There we go. It is playing now. So this is, so you can see blade counter in operation. And it's not being manually turned. This is the turning tool, the Brown style turning tool, the Future Drive NG Plus system that's connected to the MVIQ Plus. So from a productivity and automation point of view, you're able to, once you've set it up, you started your MDI, started blade counter and connected your turning tool, you're able to consistently and repeatedly do this inspection. And whether you choose to capture images or not, you're able to focus on the job at hand. Which is what it's all about, so that you can perform your inspection and focus such that you're reducing the likelihood of you missing any defects. Okay, and then the next slide, we can move on to, this is not a video, so this is, but you can see the picture building up. So you can see the menu directed inspection text on the top left hand side. You can see there's a blade counter activator because you can see a small text label that says blade number 1. You can see the turning tool user interface on the left hand side that you heard me talk about, but the new feature that you see here is assisted defect recognition that's been activated. So on the top right hand side you can see this information box that says gas power assist version 4.1. And this is just a still image, or perhaps it's a frame capture from a video of a crack that was found on the shroud of a turbine blade. And automatically the gas power assist has detected and categorized the presence of that defect. So there's lots of onboard tools that I'm showing you here that now are all able to be used at the same time. And the next one that's becoming an emerging sort of feature that we're using is image overlay. A lot of our customers require the use of positioning the probe into a reliable position before starting an inspection. So if you just click on to the next sequence, no, oh no, if you go back a slide and just click. Oh, okay, it's not on there. Forgive me. This is so there is the ability to have overlays that have lines on the screen. So this is an image showing a saved image projected on top of a live image, and so it looks quite blurry. You could also have not just a saved image of a blade projected onto the live image of a blade, but you could have the saved image of a collection of lines that might coincide with the leading edge or the blade split line or the trailing edge, for instance, of a blade. And then you're instructed to position your probe such that they coincide, those features of your live image coincide with the lines that you projected on from an image overlay, all to do with getting repeatability, such that when you start your inspection, it's in accordance with perhaps the standard that you or your business prescribe whilst doing inspections. Repeatability and consistency are certainly important features, so that when you're doing analysis or when perhaps you're sharing your output, having that consistency and repeatability can really help you compare your inspections with subsequent inspections, for instance, and determine the degradation of defects perhaps over the course of time. And then on top of all of those onboard tools, we have the ability to send all of this information to the cloud. So the next slide shows you the feature associated with the Inspection Works. Inspection Works allows you to search, store, measure, report, share, and also merge. You can also merge inspections into Inspection Works. Once you've done your inspection, whilst you're doing your inspection, you're able to send your data or your images. This is me sending data to the cloud by gesturing that way to the cloud. And that's so important so that you can not just back up your inspection data, because it can be seen as a really important way to back up your data, but also share your data and analyze your data and process your data on the cloud. So Inspection Works really helps you perform those activities directly. There's direct communication without the use of any requirement to extract your USB thumb drive, for instance, from the device and upload it through a computer, which you could do. You're able to connect to Inspection Works wirelessly from your device, whether it's the Mentor Visual IQ Plus or indeed the sort of the lower tier model, the Mentor Flex. They all have the capability to have that digital connectivity feature such that you can handle the data and send the data to the cloud to enable you to process it within this powerful ecosystem that we call Inspection Works. Okay, next slide. So once we've kind of talked about what's helping you be productive and automate certain features and certain workflows on the device, I kind of really wanted to talk about the packaging and the external aspects and accessories of the borescope. These really do help you do your job, in my opinion. So we package the whole, everything that I've been talking about really has been centering around the Mentor Visual IQ Plus, our flagship borescope. And that's all contained within a very small case. There are larger cases available. I actually use a larger case, which is a dual probe case that allows me to fit two probes, a handset and a range of additional accessories into a slightly larger case. But this carry-on case is very, very useful, very convenient, because it conforms to the standards to allow you to travel and use this as hand baggage, so you don't have to check it in when you're traveling internationally. So it's a very useful case to be able to use in that setting. Okay, and the next one is mounting and positioning of your borescope. So you heard me talk pretty much at the beginning of this session, talking about ergonomics and getting yourself comfortable so that you can focus on the job. we have this new feature on our carry-on case that is the pole mount kit. And that pole mount is a telescopic pole that sits on the inside of the lid of the carry-on case. And when you extend it out and attach the cradle and clip on your borescope, it kind of sits and mounts on the back of the carry-on case. And it's a very sturdy, very convenient way to mount your kit. If you're in a setting where you're able to place the box, the carry-on case, in the setting like you see as per picture here, so that you can operate hands-free and see the device. You're not having to carry it or hold it or balance it or positioning in a way that you can't really handle and access it very well. So the pole mount kit's a very, very useful feature to have when using this device. Okay. The carry-on case also, interestingly, well, usefully, not only accommodates the pole mount, but also we've optimized the space such that it can actually incorporate a second battery. So it takes you from sort of 2.2 hours to 4.5 hours with the use of 2 batteries that are now contained within that carry-on case. And it's very simple. It's probably one of our simplest accessories. But this picture now shown on this chart shows it's not so recognizable, but they will be turning orange later this year. It's currently a very basic hook. It's colored black, so you're just going to have to just look at the top of the handset. You can see the hook sort of hooked onto an appropriate object on the side of an engine here. And that attaches using a quick release mount. So you can just press a button and push it into a mount on the back of the handset and just conveniently, quickly, rapidly sort of hook and hang the device from a safe surface, safe component on the end of your engine, for instance. And again, all that's contained within the carry-on case. So time for questions shortly, but I'm just summarizing and wrapping up now. Apologies again for the problems that I've had with my videos and my computer, but we're able to pass through all the content here. So really circling back, our design principles really focus on standardization, simplicity, and excellence. And we invest heavily year on year to make sure that we develop and develop and develop and enhance our product such that it's getting better and better and better. And where we are today with the Mentor Visual IQ Plus, that's our flagship device. Hopefully we've been able to give you a little bit more information of the reasoning of why we develop it in a certain way, such that it optimizes not just your experience whilst using the device, but also handling, transporting, and storing the device. And we group those into these very important headings: getting ready to inspect, be ready to inspect, getting to the indication, making a great image, but also the measurement and productivity and automation features that you've heard me talk about. So thank you for your time. Hopefully you found it interesting. If there are any questions, now's a good time to share. If not, I'll give you 10 or 20 seconds and we'll wrap up. Thank you. Thank you. Are the measurement functions designed in the borescope specifically to meet the needs of the aerospace? Good question. Some of them have. Usually, some of them, for instance, like blade tip clearance, did derive from the aerospace industry. But there are others for weld inspection, pipeline inspections, for instance, where you've got area depth profile and depth profile. Those are designed for pipeline inspections. So we do serve the aerospace industry, but more importantly, we serve a lot of the other industries as well: renewables, power generation, pharmaceutical and automotive, and lots of those others. But I guess what you're asking about with regard to measurement types, if there are measurement types that we don't currently have that you as a user feel necessary to have, then please reach out, because we kind of pride ourselves to develop and enhance. So when you buy the borescope, it doesn't remain static. We update them through software every 6 months, certainly once or twice a year at least. and we can incorporate all sorts of new features, new settings, and new capabilities and new tools, and including more measurements. So if there are any that you think are missing, then please reach out. Thank you. I'll just leave it a few more seconds. So again, apologies for the problems that I had, but thank you for your question, LinkedIn user. If there are not any more, then we'll wrap up. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.